In front of me, I have two of the largest phones that you can currently get on the market. The top phone here is the ASUS Zenfone 3 Ultra. Now this has a 6.8 inch screen. On the bottom we have the Xiaomi Mi Max, which has a 6.44 inch screen. So very large devices, and they both have 1080p screens. Now the screens are slightly different. Now we're not too sure whether this has Gorilla Glass or Dragon Tail scratch resistant glass on the front of the screen of the Mi Max here. Now I think it probably has the cheaper Dragon Tail glass on there, and the screen quality is quite good. The brightness, the colors, not too bad, but I would give the edge to the Zenfone 3 here, which has a slightly more punchier screen when it comes to colors and has a better maximum brightness. The brightness of the screen gets very bright, and it's a few notches higher than that of the Mi Max here. If I put both of the screens onto the maximum brightness, you'll see what I mean. So that's maximum brightness now, which is probably going to overpower the camera with my current exposure settings, and maximum brightness here. So just go back into the UIs, you can see. So that's full brightness on them. Now in terms of build quality, the Zenfone is far superior. This has a full metal body, whereas the Mi Max here, if you have a look at the back, this is actually plastic along the bottom for the antenna reception. What ASUS have is a full unibody housing that doesn't actually have any antenna strips in the unibody itself, but if you look along the edges here, you can actually just make out, just along here, where there are the antenna lines. There was one there, and if you look along the top here, you can just see them. But it's very firm, very good build, no flex, very well made, and has a more premium feel to it. It does weigh an additional 49 grams, so it's a little heavier than the 200 grams of the Mi Max. The Mi Max build quality isn't as good. You can see we have a rear fingerprint sensor reader and a front one on the Zenfone 3 Ultra. It's not as good, a little more flexing and giving it. In fact, you can just hear a little bit of noise there when I'm applying pressure. I do think this one will be a lot easier to bend in your pocket. And I have accidentally dropped this one too, where I did find out that along this edge here, the white is actually made out of a painted plastic and very easy to chip and ding. It did fall out of my pocket from about waist height, so it survived the fall, which was good in a way, but the ASUS, very good build quality on it, and it does have Gorilla Glass 4 on there. So the UIs are different. We have Mi's UI here, which has more of a simplistic look to it, which I think I prefer, but it doesn't have an apps drawer. Now, there is an apps drawer on the Zen UI 3 skin that ASUS are using. This is quite good, but it does come with a lot of bloat. The performance of both of the UIs is very good. I haven't noticed any stutter and lag, and there is a difference with the chipset. So this one currently has, this version here has 4 gigabytes of RAM, 64 gigabyte eMMC. This has 3 gigs of RAM, and I think it's 32 that I have on my Mi Max here. It's a Snapdragon 650 with 6 cores. This has the Snapdragon 652 with 8 cores, and both of them have the Adreno 510 GPUs. Both of them, the gaming performance is very similar, which you'll see later on when I test them out. Now, another thing to note too with these is the cameras. There is a huge difference in camera quality. The front 8 megapixel camera and 5 megapixel camera, they don't have too much of a difference when it comes to video quality from the front facing cameras, but there is a difference on the rear cameras. The rear cameras, 16 megapixel camera here on the Mi Max, and then we have a 23 megapixel one. Now what's special about this camera here is it has actually a color correction or color sensor there. It has a two-tone LED, so does this one, but we do have infrared for distance, measuring the distance, so a laser autofocused assist, and it does have phase detection autofocus. So does the Mi Max. Now the Mi Max will often have problems getting focus sometimes, I've found, especially if you're taking photos of things like a monitor screen or text or something. Sometimes the image isn't perfect, whereas the focus with locking on is a lot better. Both of the cameras will shoot 4K video, and they offer reasonably good quality, but the ASUS with its digital image stabilization and optical stabilization offers a far superior video quality. There is superior in all ways. The camera wins definitely with the Zenfone 3 Ultra. Now, to comment on battery life, this is where the Mi Max is going to win. The battery in the Mi Max is a 4,850 mAh battery. In the Zenfone 3 Ultra, it is a 4,600 mAh, so slightly lower battery capacity, but there is a big difference in battery performance with PC Mark. Now, I got a score of 13 hours and 10 minutes on the Mi Max, and just over 9 hours, and I think it was 2 minutes on the Zenfone 3 Ultra here. So that's a huge difference for such a tiny gap in capacity with the batteries there. What it's down to, I think, is more of the optimization. I think that the Zen UI is a little more heavier and a little demanding and consumes more battery there. So if you're after the best battery life, then that's probably the one to get, would be the Mi Max. However, the charge times on the Zenfone 3 Ultra are a lot better. It can charge up to 60% in only about 45 minutes, which is really quick. And the Mi Max does not include a fast charger, although it does support quick charging. If you get a quick charger, then you can charge this one up quite quickly, fully charge it in about an hour and 50 minutes. And this one here will fully charge in around an hour, just over an hour, 20, 25, 30 minutes, I think it is, to fully charge it. So quicker charging out of the box there with the Zenfone 3. So I'm going to do one benchmark here. I'm just going to make sure the RAM is cleared on both devices. So clear everything here. And I'm going to launch Antutu benchmark. So you're not going to have to sit right through it. I will launch it and edit it so you just see the results at the end. So it loads up first on the Mi Max, marginally quicker there, and you see there's a difference now with the both. Well, you can see the screen brightnesses and also a difference here with the way the DPI is handling this. You can fit more on screen on the Zenfone 3 Ultra than you can on the Mi Max because of the DPI scaling. The setting that the manufacturers have used here is different. I prefer seeing more on screen, so I do like the way that ASUS have set things up here. So I'm just going to run this test now quickly, and I just put each device here so you can have a look at the screen brightnesses. And while this is running, I will just quickly show you how the loudspeakers sound. So here is the that was the Zenfone 3 Ultra. Much better speaker, very good audio out of that device. And the Mi Max, sorry, turn that down. The Mi Max does okay. That loudspeaker is alright. It has not as much volume to it and not as much bass because it's only got one speaker where you get two rear firing speakers coming out of the Zenfone 3 Ultra there. So I will skip the video now. I head to the results of this test. So it's just wrapping up now, and we can see that there's a slight advantage the Zenfone 3 has because it's got 2 extra cores on there. I pretty much expected this to happen, but the difference really isn't that much. So here are the scores, and find a detail there if you want to have a look. And you can see what I mean about the scaling here with the DPI, how I like the way everything is a little smaller there on the Zenfone 3 Ultra. So to sum things up in my finding with having both of these phones now for a little while, that I think if you want to save cash and you want a better battery life, go for the Mi Max, and it also has less bloat on it. The Zenfone 3 has a lot of bloat forced upon you in the beginning. You can disable most of it and you can uninstall a lot of it, but there's just so much crap on there when you first get it. It's unbelievable how much they have crammed on there. But it does have a superior camera, a brighter screen, a better looking screen, better build, and overall I would rate, personally, this being the better device. It's not really a fair comparison, of course, considering the price range. You got a device that is more premium, costs twice as much. But for me personally, I like to have a good camera, and I find that the Mi Max camera is a little disappointing at times. It just misses a lot of photos and shots that I could have got if I had a faster focus, which is definitely what the Zenfone 3 has here. Thank you for watching this comparison here. Hopefully it wasn't too long. I wanted to cover a few details there, and hopefully I will catch you back in the channel with more up and coming reviews on tech.